So ever since I modded the Steam Deck OLED, I've been asked how I did the mods, what kind of mods I did, what software mods I did, or where I got some of these accessories. And I've been asked on multiple occasions if I could do the mods for them and then ship it back to them. But honestly, I really don't want that liability of opening up someone's Steam Deck and then trying those mods and accidentally breaking it. So today we're gonna see what the best accessories for the Steam Deck OLED is and what kind of mods we can get done today. That's right, these mods and accessories have been around for a while now, but they're still amazing even in the year 2025. Starting with some of the accessories I have, I would always recommend having one of these 3 docks. Now this dock does run a little bit more expensive, but it still costs less than the Steam Deck version. The Steam Deck dock is $79, while this 7-in-1 docking station from JSOX is $55. Without the sale, it is $60, so it is a great alternative to the Steam Deck version. A little bit more about this docking station. It has 1 HDMI port, a display port, USB-C for power draw, and 3 USB-A ports. The plug for the Steam Deck is a right angle, very nice and clean, so you don't have the wire just sticking out from the top. The problem with this dock is that, not a bad problem, but you usually just have this dock sitting in one spot, so you would leave this dock at home. It's just easier than carrying it around and then having this wire kind of like dangling everywhere. So it's kind of hard to travel with this dock. It's not a big deal breaker, but it's still a very reliable dock to have. So this also outputs 4K at 60 Hertz. So as long as your TV supports 4K, then it'll work. So this dock only supports Steam Deck, Steam Deck OLED, the first RG Ally and the Legion Go, and the MSI Claw. And it does not work for the Ion Neo or the RG Ally X. And like the Steam Deck dock, this one also supports 4K at 60 Hertz. The Steam Deck version does support 1440p at 120 Hertz as well, and it does have multi-stream support. But for the use of a TV and to be placed at home, this is still a really reliable dock to have. Now, for the same price, we can get something that works better for traveling, and that is the 7-in-1 RGB cooler docking station. It is also a 7-in-1 docking station. It does have 2 USB-A ports, 1 USB-C port on the back for you to connect any accessories. Also has a USB-C port for power draw at the bottom and an HDMI port, as well as an Ethernet port. Right on top, there's also a USB-C port right inside as well. For now, I do use it to hold the cable so that it doesn't get in the way. What's great about this one is that it is an upgrade at $60. It does output 4K at 120 Hertz or 1080p at 240 Hertz. And for 60 bucks, it does fit the Steam Deck with the mod case. Unlike the other one where it's a right angle port, this one is more versatile because you can use it for other devices too, like the RG Ally X. But in this case, for the Steam Deck OLED, it works great. This dock can also come apart, where you could just carry this portion by itself. So when you travel, you don't really necessarily have to bring the stand with you. What's cool about this USB hub too is that it does have customization value to it. So you could print out any type of imagery or your custom logo, and you could put it right here. And then this plastic cover would hold it in place. I do prefer this one over the first one just because this one does output 4K at 120 Hertz compared to the first one being at $55. So for $5 more, you can get something that outputs a better image. Another dock that is quite a little bit more expensive and was sent to me that I'd like to mention is this BenQ Ultimate USB 4 mobile dock. I just want to add a small disclaimer that BenQ did send me this product for review, and BenQ will not see this video beforehand to make any changes, and there was no money exchange whatsoever. So everything about this dock in this video are my personal opinions. So we can unbox this right now and just show you this dock. This dock is higher end, sitting at $109, and the quality that this outputs is pretty similar to the JSOX one here, where it outputs 4K at 120 Hertz. It is a little bit more travel friendly. So this dock does look a lot nicer. There is a folding shelf here for you to put your Steam Deck. Let's see if it works with the case. And it works with the case too. It's nice and clean. It folds up into a smaller form factor, so you don't have anything kind of like jutting out. The USB also has its own spot to be placed, so you could just take this out. And if you're using the dock for any device that doesn't fit a right angle, you could unplug it and then you have a regular USB-C. But for the Steam Deck, we could use that right angle and it does fit nicely. A very clean dock, serves the same purpose as any of the other docks. This one is a little bit more premium. It does have the USB-C power draw, HDMI, 2 USB-A ports, an Ethernet port, and also another USB-C port for any of those accessories that you want to add, and a foldable shelf that you can hide away to just use it as a normal dock rather than having it placed to your Steam Deck, and also a pocket for you to put your USB cord. Very nice, clean USB dock. Thank you, BenQ, for sending this. I do like how portable this is, and it has multi-device compatibility. Unlike the first JSOC dock that doesn't work for the RG Ally X, it's nice that I can use this for the RG Ally X and also other devices that I have. Also works for laptops, mobile phones, and this 2-in-1 Steam Deck stand design is really nice. This is probably my favorite part to the dock, because this JSOX dock becomes hard to travel with because of the two pieces. It is nice though, because then I can just carry this by itself, but you can just tell that the form factor is a lot cleaner and smaller with this BenQ one. It does come in double the price of the JSOX, but it's still a great dock to use. So if you have the money, I say this is a really good investment to have as an accessory pairing with your Steam Deck OLED or any other PC handheld that you have. So this one being at 109, this one being at 60, and this one being at 55. 3 great dock options. If you want to go for one of the USB-C hubs that you already have for the MacBook, such as this Hitachi multi-hub one, this would also work as well. Because of how old the Steam Deck is, any USB-C hub that you have would probably work. So if you want to go for an even more budget version, I would just recommend using what you have. But if you have the money, I say this one would be the best one so far. Man, I really like the way this one looks. The shell that it has too has a great feeling to it. It does feel way more well built than these other JSOC versions. The next accessory we have would be this JSOC mod case. I had this JSOC mod case for a while now, and it's the one that stays on my Steam Deck for travel. So whenever I'm at home, I would use my other Steam Deck, but for on the go, this is the one that I use. This is the one that I also took to Japan with me a couple of times, and it works the best for me. There's a good cover to the top, and the slim profile just makes it easier for me to pack, and I wouldn't need to worry about having a dedicated hardshell case for it. So you can open this up here. So once you open this, the lid cover, you can see that there is a foam piece here that protects the screen, along with 2 bumps that protects the analog sticks. So it doesn't really push the analog stick around, and it makes your analog sticks last a little bit longer. So this mod case also comes with attachments that I don't really use, but there's some belt attachments here where you can have a whole battery attached to it. I don't really use it just because I do like having a slim light factor, so it doesn't get too heavy for me to hold for longer periods of time. There's also a stand that you can move here by pushing this down. This stand is very helpful to have whenever I want to play desktop mode, and it works really well. This mod case also have very nice grips to them, making it really easy to hold around, and it gives the Steam Deck a little bit more weight just so it can feel a little bit more full in the hands. When you're holding the Steam Deck by itself, it does feel too slim and you might be able to snap it, but this mod case kind of gives it a more well-built feeling, a little bit better thickness, so you wouldn't have to worry about anything breaking. There's also good ventilation at the top and also in the back, and the cutouts are big enough where it doesn't look like it will block a lot of the port. The only issue I had with this mod case would be when I got it for the first time, just because it does push my dbrand skin out a little bit, so that becomes an issue right here. And also installing it is also a pain in the butt because of how hard it is on top. So when you're installing it for the first time, you do have to pull it up so that you can avoid the analog sticks and the shoulder buttons so it doesn't snap. But other than that, it is a really good slim profile mod case to have. Now moving on to another accessory you can have would be my favorite, the dbrand skins. So there's several different dbrand skins that you can get. My favorite one was the Robo camouflage one, just because I wanted a white device, but I didn't want it too plain. So with these kind of like, it looks like comic strips and just gives it a more fun look to it, especially in this case. It pairs everything off really nicely. It's a great little accessory to give yourself a more personal touch on your Steam Deck. Gives it a little bit more personality as well. Now, an accessory that I'd always love pairing off with these PC handhelds like the Steam Deck would be controllers. I love using different controllers, especially when I'm playing in desktop mode, because it just makes the experience feel a little bit more console-like. Some of the controllers that I recommend, we have a few here. We have the Xbox Elite controller, we have the PS5 controller, whichever floats your boat, either Xbox or PlayStation. We also have the SN30 Pro by 8BitDo, and one of my favorites for whenever I'm playing any fighting game would be the Holt 42 hit pad. It's a really small, compact hit pad that I have, and I love using this whenever I'm playing Tekken or Street Fighter. This Xbox Elite controller has its own stand to charge, and it's a magnetic stand, so you can just drop it on and then it can start charging. You can also get it with a case where there's a port at the end for you to plug in a USB-C to keep your charger nice and charged. There's also some back paddles that I usually like pairing with D-pad, just in case I'm playing games that require using the analog sticks and the D-pad. I start mapping the D-pad to these back sticks, and it's just easier for me to use rather than moving my thumb to the D-pad itself. I can just hit it in the back. PS5 controller, DualSense controller. I grew up playing a lot of games on the PlayStation controllers, so this is kind of like what I'm most comfortable with. But what I hate the most is that the glyphs don't really match, especially when I'm playing certain games. That's why I have the Xbox Elite controller. But there are some games that I still play that I can change the face buttons to match the PlayStation one. So whenever that's available, I would always use the PlayStation controller. It's just more nostalgic for me to use, especially when you're playing Kingdom Hearts 2. A lot of the controllers are cycled around the triangle button, and it even shows kind of like the triangle animation whenever you're opening chests or you have to react to reaction commands. So using this would be the best for those kind of games. Now, whenever I'm traveling, this 8BitDo SN30 Pro has been by far my favorite travel controller, just because, especially when you're on a bus or a plane, you could have your Steam Deck sitting out like this. And this small controller that you can take around with you pairs with the Steam Deck very nicely. Fits really well in the hands, and playing like this just feels very comfortable for me. So yeah, it's one of my favorite travel controllers just because of that form factor. And of course, this hit pad is one of my favorite controllers for whenever I'm playing those fighting games, especially when I'm traveling. I do bring this, I slide it into kind of like the tablet pocket of my backpack, and the Steam Deck would just be in tabletop mode for me. While this is sitting on my lap, I can just plug the hit pad that's on my lap to here, and this would be the setup that I play in. This hit pad also works like a regular controller as well. So whenever I'm feeling it, or whenever I'm playing any of the indie games that doesn't require an analog stick, I do use this hit pad to play those games. It's really fun having this on your lap and you're pressing the buttons instead of using the analog stick. This hit pad also have hot swappable switches too. So if you want a more tactile feeling, you can always just take off the buttons and switch out the switches. There's also different modes on this hit pad as well. You can do switch, input, PS3 and dinput, and also PS4. There's also the keyboard, but I primarily keep it on Zinput, or whenever I'm doing any emulation, I would switch over to the Switch. The next accessory that I have is these Viture AR glasses. These glasses are super cool, and I have made a video about it before, so I'm so grateful that Viture did send me these. These come along with me on a lot of travels, especially when it involves a plane. I like zoning out in my own world. The way this works, it doesn't even require having the glasses charged. There are cables here where you can attach to the back of these glasses and into your Steam Deck. So one of the nice setups you can have is having the Steam Deck in your bag, or even like in a side pocket. Plug in these Viture glasses in, connect a Bluetooth controller, and have these glasses. And then you can have the Steam Deck in your bag while using a Bluetooth controller. So essentially sitting on a plane, all you need on your lap is a Bluetooth controller, and on your face, these glasses. So it just becomes a really light setup to enjoy your new immersive gaming experience. That's what makes these glasses so cool and pretty worth it. You can also have the shades turned on and off. I did make a video reviewing these Viture glasses before, so I'll just have that plugged in on the top right. And the carrying case itself is a very nice carrying case with a part for you to put the USB-C cables. Speaking about immersive gameplay, we do have a couple options when it comes to audio. Of course, we have the trusty AirPods Pro, my IEMs, trusty, dependable Sony XM5. There's nothing really new about these accessories. They have been around for a very long time, but these are the audio accessories that I love using. AirPods Pro, you can't really go wrong. These do have noise canceling on them. They're great to use and very easy to connect to the Steam Deck. It's as simple as holding the back button until you see a white flashing light. And once you see that white flashing light, you just go onto the Steam Deck Bluetooth settings, look for your AirPods and connect them. Also, if you want a more seamless experience, you could just get a pair of IEMs. These I love using. They're very comfortable to wear for long periods of time. And it's as simple as plug and play. You just plug it into the audio jack and you're good to go. These do run really cheap compared to the AirPods Pro and the Sony headphones. Now, for longer periods of time, I love using a pair of headsets just because they're more comfortable and has a better noise canceling feature. That's why I like using these Sony XM5s. These can connect through Bluetooth or audio jack. And they have their own audio noise canceling and ambient sound button as well. So those features are very accessible and very efficient for me to just tap and go. And yeah, you can't really go wrong with any of these choices. What's great about these Sony headphones is that there's also a spot that uses a magnetic seal just so you can put some cables in. So I really do like bringing these around for longer travels. This is more for everyday use, and this is for everyday use as well for those longer commute times. All right, one of the last accessories we have, of course, would be a portable charger. I mentioned this OmniCharge 20C a lot. This portable charger, like I said before in my other videos, stays with me for any travel I do, just because it has that wireless top charger, a wall outlet, USB-C, and 2 USB-As right at the front. And the size of this is just really big. At being at around 20,000 milliamps, I can use this to charge my phone many times over, and I'll still have a decent amount of charge left to charge any other handhelds that I'm carrying with me at that point. For example, I've been using this commuting to work, and I've charged my phone a couple times with it already. I haven't recharged this in about 2 weeks, and it's still at 65%. There's a more updated OmniCharge portable charger, but this one still works. So I really didn't find a need to upgrade it or even get another portable charger. 2025, after several years, this is still my go-to portable charger, the OmniCharge 20C. Now, alongside those accessories, we can now talk about the different mods I have for the Steam Deck OLED. Many people have been asking me what kind of mods I've done on the Steam Deck, whether it's physical mods or software related mods. I'm going to show them here. What we have going on here are artisan custom buttons. We have the hologram D-pads from Deck Buttons and also the alien egg buttons also from Deck Buttons. These are custom buttons that I think fit nicely on this D brand skin, and that's why I got them and decided to just change out the buttons. It's very easy to do. It's not that difficult. I can show a little bit of the interior. Come right off. If you do have an SD card in it, make sure you take out the micro SD card before you remove the back shell. So here it is, the back of the Steam Deck OLED. Make sure the first thing you do is remove the batteries. This black tab, I just give it a pull, a tug, and it comes right off. And also when you're removing this metal plate, there is another cable here that you can remove too. Just be careful so that you don't snap that one. But the SSD that I have here is this 2 terabyte SSD. This is from Sabrent, 2 terabytes. I don't feel like removing all these, but it's simple. There are other tutorials removing these ribbon cables to place in those new buttons. The Steam Deck buttons do come in these cases, and it's as easy as removing them and replacing them with the ones you get from Deck Button. This is the alien egg one, but I decided to use the Steam Deck OLED hologram D-pad because it does look a lot better than this one. And these are the Steam Deck OLED Deck Button. It's really cool switching it out because it does give your Steam Deck a more personal touch to it. So it's really nice to have. The only thing that I'd say that you have to be careful of is removing those ribbon cables. As long as you're not damaging those ribbon cables, then it's as easy as just unplugging and plugging it back in. The triggers could be hard at first. It took me a couple of tries to actually remove it and put it back on, and it's not that hard to actually remove, because if you look right there, there's a plastic piece that is inside a ring. You just need to put a pick or something through it, lifting up that ring, and then the triggers will come off fairly easily. And then make sure you don't lose the spring as well. All right, now we can talk about software related mods. So after you make the outside of your Steam Deck all nice and pretty with custom skins and custom base buttons, D-pads, and other buttons, let's start modding the Steam Deck software side to make it look prettier than how it looks right now. My favorite plugin to use would be the Decky plugin. I've been using that Decky plugin for a lot of different things, such as modifying the power or how many TDP to put in certain games, and it's very easy to install. First, you would go into your menu, power, and switch to desktop. Once you switch to a desktop, you just go into any internet browser that you have and Google Decky. It would be the first one, decky.xyz. You just go to download, and the file will be downloaded for you. And then you would just double click with R2 and hit execute. You might get a pop-up that says you appear to have not set an admin password, so just hit yes. It will say install for you. Right now I already have Decky installed, but every time you run into any problems, make sure you just update to the latest release by going back to that installer. Once you go back to gaming mode, hit the right menu using that button you have under your trackpad and go down to Decky. So you go into settings, general, check for updates. After you finish checking for updates, I will go back to Decky and go to what looks like a shop. You just open that up. Once you open that up, here are a few plugins that I recommend. If you're running the Steam Deck OLED, you don't need Vibrant Deck. If you're running the old Steam Deck, Decky still works, and you should get Vibrant Deck just so you can have a more saturated looking screen. But the important ones that I like using would be Steam Grid DB. So Steam Grid DB, a great way for me to showcase that would be to go to any game that I have, like One Piece Odyssey. I just hit the options, go to change artwork, If it doesn't show up, change artwork the first time, just go back and then hit option again. Change artwork will be there. There's many different art pieces that you can use for the capsule, the Y capsule for when's the first game on your list, and also the hero image, which you can change as well. So that is what SteamGrid DB is. It's just a way for you to put a more customized feeling for your game. So besides SteamGrid DB, you can also get Proton DB badges. Proton DB badges is great because what it does is it tells you the compatibility of the game. For example, Path of Exile 2, there is some problems for running the game, but with Proton DB, you can see that there's a badge on the top left that'll tell you how the game runs actually, and if there's any problems or if there's any fixes that you can use to essentially fix a game and make it more compatible for you to play on. So for Path of Exile 2, there's a lot of people saying that no issues installing or running, the game works great, nicely out of the box. So I wouldn't have to worry about that. Another great plugin to have would be Power Tools. Power Tools is essentially where you change frequency limits. There's also the amount of chords you can have running. You can also override the power draws that it has. Essentially, when I'm playing any heavy games, like any AAA games, that requires a stronger computer or a stronger graphics card, I would just use Power Tools and I would just max it out. Usually that works. I don't know if it's the proper way of using it, but that's what I do and it seems to work fine for me. If you have any suggestions as to how to get the knowledge on what kind of TDP charge you would use, leave it down in the comments below. Other than that, I just run it. If it's a strong game, then max it out. If it's not a strong game, like an indie game, I could have at a lower charge, like 9 watts or even like 8 watts. Another great plugin to have would be Animation Changer. With Animation Changer, you can change what sort of boot you have. With the Steam Deck, there's already a couple of animations that you can have, but I do have the Steam PAL version that I like better. There is a couple of other video boot ups that work quicker so you can get into your Steam Deck faster, but this one, nice and simple. Now moving on to other sorts of customization, I would recommend downloading the plugin from Decky Loader, CSS Loader. I have a couple of them here already, so I just need to turn them on, but essentially we have things like a switch like home, moving all your games to the bottom, top bar transparency. I like having the top bar transparent so I can see more of the hero image. We also have colored toggles. I do like having that different colored toggles, especially when I have the volume turning on and off. You can see that gradient looks really nice. So it's not that boring black and white anymore. We also have better game icons, center game text. We also have clean game launch, clean game view. Obsidian turns everything to that black, which I love using because of the OLED screen. So those pixels will turn off better. We also have round. I do like having my tiles more rounded around the edge rather than the squares. We also have a stylish footer, the bottom, and that's essentially all I have turned on. But already from that, this looks a lot more cleaner than what it was before. And also all the icons are still that gradient. The top screen image looks nice. There's a cool zoom for the hero image coming forward too, which is really nice, but coming to the side. And that's essentially what I have software related. So that's all I've done for the Steam Deck OLED. This is my own personal customized one that I use on trips, while the limited white edition one, I'm supposed to be using in more videos. But showcasing accessories and mods, I thought this would be the best way of showcasing it. Honestly, with the Steam Deck OLED, I still use it for any PC games or whenever I'm going on travels and I needed something a little bit more dependable than some Windows handhelds. Also, with the Nintendo Switch 2 around the corner, I will still be using the Steam Deck OLED just a little bit more because of PC games. But whenever I want to play any Nintendo exclusives, I'll probably be relying on those in the future. Anyways, let me know down in the comments below what your favorite mods or accessories that you love using with your Steam Deck OLED. And as always, a great way for you guys to help this channel out is to share this video to a friend that is still hanging on to that Steam Deck OLED and is looking for a way to customize on their own. Give this video a like, and as always, subscribe. Thanks guys, peace.